You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Welcome to the big show, friends. We certainly appreciate it. And now a man who loves dogs more than he likes cats. It's just a personal flavor, people. If you like cats, it's fine with me. But that's my thinking. I don't know what that means. I wrote that just off the top of my head. It makes no sense. But that's the fun part of it. It's funny. And if it's not, well, then it's stupid. And that's funny, too. Anyway, guys, thanks. Welcome to the Chris Voss Show. I just laid the foundation of our whole podcast down. Be sure to further share family, friends, or relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, all the crazy places we have on the internet. We have a legitimate country music star on the show with us today, where you're going to be talking about his life, some of his influences, what he does, how he does it, and some of his life journey. Scott Hayley is on the show with us today. He's going to be talking to us about his amazing journey. Hello, Scott. How are you doing there, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
Thanks for coming. We certainly appreciate it. Let me spit out your bio here so we can lay a foundation for everybody here. His earliest influences, I don't know why I'm talking in the third person since he's now broken the fourth wall. He's in the show. But his earliest influences were Billy Ray Cyrus and one of my favorites, rock legend Sammy Hagar. What a god, Sammy Hagar. Coming from hard scrabble upbringing, his parents pulled together money to take him to see Billy Ray Cyrus live in concert. This life-changing moment inspired him to dedicate his life to country music. Never afraid of hard work, he built a promising career at the West Texas oil fields as a directional drilling consultant. After 19 years of making a living with his oil rig company, he turned his hard hat in to finally pursue his dream of playing Texas country music specifically. And he has several hits, such as Facebook Jail. I think I've been in that hit. Overserved. Zombie Town. I think I've been in that one too. Truth About Texas. He's taken his country music to music fans all over the world. Welcome to the show, Scott. How are you?
Man, I'm doing fabulous. Thank you so much for having me.
Fabulous, man. I love your whole mantra there. So give us a .com where people can find you on the interwebs and get to know you better. Hear some of your music.
ScottHayley.com.
There he goes. ScottHayley.com. You can find you on Spotify and all those other places. I was listening to some of your music earlier today.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for listening to it.
There you go. So you've been playing country music since you were 9 years old?
Yes, it's you singing in the if singing in the shower counts, I've been playing music since 9.
Well, this is pretty awesome. You just got off a tour in Ukraine. We'll talk about that some more in a second. And then you are planning a tour here in America. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Let's talk about where you came from, what grew up, and how that shaped you. You have kind of an interesting story, and it's some of it's encased in your life, your song, "The Life I've Lived."
Yes, sir. I come from a very humble beginnings. My mother was 14 when I was born, and she made the decision to keep me. When she was pressured to not keep me, and she put her faith in God, and she decided to have me, and she did her best to give me one of the best upbringings possible. And, I'm forever grateful for that. We're very poor when I was young. They worked very hard to become successful people. I lost my real dad to a suicide when I was 8 years old. And, my stepdad, Tim, he stepped in and done an amazing job at becoming a father figure. And they gave me a very good life growing up. And
there you go.
I'm forever grateful for that.
There you go. Well, that shapes you in a lot of ways. I mean, the suicide and being, I can't remember what they call it, but I think there's 6 people that are most affected by a suicide, usually in every case. and it makes a difference in our life and changes it. It sounds like you went through a lot of challenges in childhood that maybe shaped you and shaped what's going into your music.
I would say nearly every song I write, some of that inspiration from my father's suicide is instilled in those songs.
Yeah.
It's suicide is awful.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that has to deal with it, at some point, you're going to have to pick a direction. You're going to have to let that terrible tragedy drag you down in life, or you're going to have to let it build you up and remember the pain and use it as an example to do some sort of good, and at the very least, keep others from committing that terrible act.
Definitely. The thing about artists is they usually are really great at transforming pain, suffering, challenges and cathartic times we go through in life, and they turn into valuable art that we can use to realize that we're not alone in the world, and that hey, here's a way through the darkness, and we can inspire other people, and a lot of people do that through their art.
Right. Well, I'm known as a party animal, the life of the party, and most people would they'd never know this, and I don't know if I've ever even said it, but I can only write sad, painful songs. I've got a lot of happy songs. I didn't write. I had to have a co-writer. I got a guy named Paul Cook. He partners up with me on nearly every song, and he's a king of cheese. And when I combine my powers with him, we can write a happy, cheesy country song.
Yeah.
But me personally, I mean, I can't sit down and write an upbeat, happy song. I mean, I'm a happy person, but there's something deep seated in my subconscious that, that's where all the pain and everything comes out, is whenever I'm actually writing music.
Probably where a lot of emotion resonates, and what that is, and emotion comes through in art. I mean, that's the great thing about art, and not everyone can write, journey songs about fluff and love and cutesy stuff. I mean, I love Journey, but I remember, I think it was what's his face, the lead singer of Metallica. He wrote something about what the music they write. I'm a big Metallica fan. And he's like, we write about darkness and depression and kind of dark thinking and different things, but people find that cathartic, and we don't write fluffy, pretty songs, but we write songs that help people, inspire them. In fact, if I'm angry, mad, or I've got something, I'm bent about, I can go listen to Metallica, and it, kind of takes the piss out of it. It kind of, I'm like, that headbang, you're like, and then you feel better, and you're like, I don't want to kill everybody now. I think I'll be fine.
Never, if you had a great day at work and you got a promotion, you don't go get in your truck and listen to Metallica on the way home.
True, yeah.
But if somebody pissed you off at work, there's a pretty good chance you're going to play Metallica.
Anger, misery.
Yeah. There's a song I've always said, that music is, God's language to the heart. That's how he speaks to it. We got something if we're angry. We got something if we're sad.
Yeah.
We got stuff we can listen to if we're happy. If we just need to be uplifted, we got gospel music. There's there's a song out there for every single feeling.
There is. In fact, you said feeling. I was going to say Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Anyway, there's a feeling song. I probably can't think of one. So you do a lot of what you term as Texas country music. What's the difference there? And is it very ZZ Top-ish, or what's going on?
Well, it's I've kind of I guess I've been coined that. If I had it my way, I'd be up on the stage rocking Metallica, style music. I love rock. When I drive,
you need more
down the
depression,
road,
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, when I'm driving down the road, I'm listening to rock. That's my thing. And if I could, I'd be a rock star. But if you hear the way I talk, it don't go over very well.
Yeah.
I'm just a little too redneck to pull off the rock. But yeah, country.
Maybe there could be a Texas Twain Metallica. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Well, Life I've Lived, one of my recent releases, it's a rocked up country Americana. I don't know what you call it. Here in Texas, they call it red dirt because they don't know what the hell to call it. It's just it's rock and country, which is the same thing that ZZ Top was doing. It's evolved over the years. There's been so many different acts. When I was young, it was Cross Canadian Ragweed. These guys, they were some, they were actually out of Oklahoma. They were just a couple of rockers, but they attracted the country people. So the honky tonks would bring them in, and they just somehow the term red dirt come about. And it was Cross Canadian Ragweed, The Great Divide, Pat Green, Reckless Kelly, which Pat Green was more country, but the other three, it kind of started this entire movement, red dirt movement, and now it's evolved into the Co Wetzels and Giovanni and the Hired Guns and Whiskey Meyer. And if you go back, you listen to those three guys that I just named, and you go back and listen to ZZ Top, it's actually all very close.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of it, is rooted in the blues. I mean, that's the thing about country music. It's got a really close root to the blues. And, when I grew up, there was always kind of this great divide of rock and country. But over the last 20, 30 years or so, I've been alive for a long time, damn it. There's a lot of crossover that's gone on, where music passes from back and forth. In fact, I think Dolly Parton's working on a rock album evidently right now.
I can't wait to hear that.
I can't wait to hear that. I hope she dances to rock when she does it, because I've always been a big fan of Dolly's upper part. No, she's a wonderful woman and brilliant artist. But so it's kind of interesting. You go on this journey. You're writing songs. So you want to go see Billy Ray Cyrus when you're young. Did you keep writing? Did you keep practicing your music, or you kind of went on this career path where you went off to the oil fields?
Well, so growing up, I remember, it's funny if I ever got mad at my stepdad, I always get mad. I'd have these dreams that my mom would divorce him and marry Garth Brooks, and I'd wake up.
Huge back then. I think he's still huge. I don't know.
The guy. There
was one time where he was like the biggest artist ever in any genre.
Well, and I mean, he kind of changed music. Some say for the better, some say for the worse. I mean, I think I'm a huge Garth fan.
Well, you wanted him to be your dad, so you got that.
Yeah, but it's all I had a friend named Tim. When I was 9, 10 years old, and when go out to the playground, everybody be out there playing sports, and we were playing country music stars. He'd be Garth, I'd be Billy Ray, and we go hide out and sing songs, and his puberty hit, and wanted to chase girls, and I realized that sports was a way better way to accomplish that goal. And I went the sports route, and went to college and tried to play. I wasn't very good. I thought I was good in a Class A school, but whenever I got to college, I realized I was not very good. But I always tinkered with guitar. Sitting around a campfire. I'm still not a very good guitar player. I think I'm a good songwriter, but I'm a terrible guitar player. But I got into oil and gas. Following 9/11. It kind of changed everything. Everybody was trying to get finance degrees, and I was class of 2002, which was that was the year where 2001 was my senior year, when 9/11 happened. And after that, it completely changed everything. Guys we were being pushed to go out and get finance degrees. In my area, Rising Star, Texas, peanut farming was a big thing. You either went into peanut farming or you went to college to get a finance degree.
No.
Well, following 9/11, the peanuts moved out. All the quotas were sold, and they moved back to New Mexico and the Texas Panhandle. And then finance, obviously, shortly after that, we had the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. I might have got that backwards. But the real estate collapse. And so that was out the window. And oil, 2 hours west of me, you have the world's largest oil boom in the Permian Basin.
Yeah.
And it was hard to turn away. I mean, you could go make more money than any college degree would offer you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, and so music definitely went on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way, so from the time I was 19 years old until I was 36, never thought about playing music.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And then
you know,
one day, what you decide to pick it up then?
yeah, you know, man, you know, I worked up into management, and I just got to a point where I just wasn't enjoying life. There was just something
Mhm.
missing. You know, had an amazing wife, an amazing son, but just something didn't feel complete. You know, my blood pressure was through the roof. I was up over 300 pounds. I was working all the dang time.
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't jiving in life. And one day, you know, I was on at the time I was on so many pills to keep my blood pressure down,
Jeez.
keep my mood right, that I was just basically a zombie. One day, you know, I decided to quit the pills. That was awful. Don't ever just stop taking a
Just
bunch of
don't
pills.
stop. Yeah.
But you know,
That's why I never stop.
Just don't stop.
I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah. But you know, you know, one day, you know, I weaned myself off all the medications I was on, started losing weight, lost a lot of weight fairly quick. And, you know, I just realized, like, man, this is not my life. So I had a nearly $250,000 a year job, and I just quit one day.
Wow.
I know that's the craziest damn thing you can think of. But yeah, I just quit. And on the way home, I thought, man, what am I going to do with my life now? And so I stopped at a pawn shop, and I looking around, just trying to kill time. And I saw them guitars, and I said, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I bought one of those guitars, and I got home, and I told my wife, I said, hey, I quit my job. She said, you what? Said, yeah, I quit my job. And she said, what are you going to do? I think I'm going to start playing music. I didn't sleep in the bed for a long time.
Oh,
yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah. But that's how I got back into it.
Because in her head, she's going, yeah, that means groupies. Yeah. Got a meat guarding situation there. So you decide to do this. How many albums have you put out, or songs, or singles?
So I know I put out one 10-song album.
Okay.
And if you listen to it, it's probably it sounds about like somebody's first album. But you know, we've released I couldn't say exact 4 or 5 singles since then, and you know, we're starting. I'm starting to find myself in the music that I'm creating. I've got a great team around me. As I mentioned earlier, you know, Paul Cook, he's an amazing songwriter. But the one that's really making the change right now, he's a producer. His name's John Dan McBride. He actually plays in Aaron Watson's band. And John Dan has been extremely crucial to what I'm creating now. We were able to work together. He's able to work with my style, you know, of what I want, and create the instrumental music to match that style I'm looking for. And we're starting to find a groove. And with every song that we produce, it's getting closer and closer to that.
Awesome sauce. So now you kind of curve back a little bit when the Ukraine war starts out to oil. How does that all play in together? Tell us a little bit about that journey.
How I got back to oil?
Yeah, with the Ukraine and the war.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So music don't pay a lot.
At least not starting out, right? Yeah.
No, you know, we were doing really great. Got some big shows, you know, open for some major acts. Then COVID hit. And it just it just completely, I think I canceled, you know, in 1 week I canceled over 40 shows.
Wow.
You know, I'm sitting there, my family's been reached out by Rising Star, and I've got my little deer camp that I hide out over there, and it was the greatest place to quarantine. But you know, I drank a lot of beer and didn't get a lot done, and I dipped a lot of snuff and smoked a lot of cigars. Some good music, but you know, I run out of money, and you know, when COVID although COVID wrecked everything, the one thing it didn't wreck was the drive for energy. So the oil field was still booming. And I said, I'm gonna go back and kind of tinker with that. So I went back and I'd done a little bit of consulting and got everything built back up. Tried to go back into music, and just never had that same. I just never had that same impact like it did before. I had a hard time getting the bigger shows.
Yeah.
It's once you get on a wave and you ride that wave for a while, if you jump off, it's hard to find another wave.
Yeah. Plus, there haven't been a lot of shows going on because of COVID.
No.
So
no,
yeah.
and when some of these acts that were playing in bars, and the bars before COVID, it cost them $20,000-$30,000 to get these guys in bars. Well, when they dropped their price down to $5,000 or lower, just to play shows, I mean, there wasn't a big demand for me and guys, guys that are in that medium tier. So I mean, we to go play, we went from getting shows to where we could pay a band and put a little bit of money in your pocket, to where you could pay your bills to barely being able to pay your band. Yeah. And so it just wasn't feasible to stay in music.
Yeah. And so even now, I think the shows are just barely coming back. I know a lot of shows that have been rescheduled over and over again. And hopefully this is a year where everybody gets to tour. I had the same thing where all my shows got shut down. The events that we go to, like CS Show, NAB, South by Southwest. I watched a lot of money disappear from that. So I know the feeling. So you just got done touring in Europe, and I think you were tying that together with helping Ukraine in some way with the war. Yeah.
So whenever I'd caught a bad case of COVID at the end of 2021. And I had it, I've had it 4 times, but this was the third time I caught it. I'd had a bad reaction with some arthritis that I had, and it just basically I lost the ability to walk for a couple of weeks. And
holy crap!
It got up in my hips, and I spent a little couple of days in the hospital, and then I was immobile for a few weeks, and then for about a month I was walking on a cane. Well, I couldn't sing. Just my voice had got, I don't know how it affected it, just laying around so much. I don't know what it was, but if I can't sing, I might as well go back to the oil field. So I went back to consulting. Well, then I got the opportunity shortly. This was right when Russia invaded Ukraine. I had an old business associate hit me up and asked if I wanted to go help out with an operation consulting in Romania. I was like, where the hell's Romania? So
I still don't know where.
Well, he says it's in Europe. So I look. Yeah. So I get on a map, and I didn't know. I could have told you if it was in South America, what, I didn't know. But I get on a map and I look, and it's just right there next to Ukraine. I'm like, I don't know about all that. And the more I thought of, first I said no, and the more I thought about it, I believe that, I believe in God, and I, that it's very coincidental that an opportunity like that would come up, and I got to look at what they were going through and seeing that Russia was now putting the squeeze on energy to the rest of Europe, cutting the pipelines off, and Europe, that place gets pretty cold. It gets cold here, but it gets cold there, and it stays cold.
Yeah.
And so
they don't see the sun much in London.
No. And Romania is not it's not a very lucrative country. They just come out of communism in the early 90s, and they're making strides. They're wonderful people. Wonderful, amazing people. But the horrors of communism are not so easy to overcome. And I knew that they were going to have problems, and to go in there and help these guys drill for oil and gas. That's something that I felt led to do. So I done it, and it was an amazing experience. So while I was there, I had some guys reach out to me and ask if I'd be interested in playing music. I was like, well, I can't sing anymore. like, well, try, So just like I did when I was 9 years old, I got in the shower and tried,
Yeah.
I found out like, hey, my voice has gotten better. So I went up to a music store in Macau and Romania and bought a guitar. And, in the middle of that project, when I had days off, I went to Poland and played. I went back to work in Romania and finished that project, and then I stayed there for several months. And in all, I was there for 8 months. And we played a lot of benefits for Ukrainian refugees in Poland. Just played shows to the Ukrainians, and it was an experience that I'll never forget. It was an amazing experience. It was different, very different than here. I would say that it changed my outlook on being a musician here, probably for forever.
There you go. I mean, life experience is something that makes all the difference, and some artists are shaped that way. Jimi Hendrix didn't be huge till he traveled Europe. And I think there's some other vice versas of that, where people came here and people went to Europe and came back, and the stuff you learned, some of the flavors you did. So you did the tour over there, and how are you received in Europe? I mean, Texas country music is kind of is it popular, well accepted over there? They like it?
Well, for the most part, it was accepted, very well. We played to some big crowds. We played to some small crowds. Some people, I mean, there's lots of times, you'd look off the stage and every eye was engaged. I mean, they were playing. Sometimes they had interpreters, interpreting the words to whatever their language was, especially in Poland. I mean, we were all over Europe, but Poland really sticks out,
Really?
But, yeah, that's a hidden gem. If anybody, if they've never, you don't usually hear people saying, "Hey, I'm going to go to Poland on vacation." I recommend it. But some places it wasn't so well received. So, they're like, "This ain't my thing."
This is a Yankee. This is Americans with the big burgers and bad. BO or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They hate us.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of these people, they think that cowboy hat is a prop. It's not real. They don't realize that we really wear cowboy hats in Texas.
Definitely.
But they all think that every single one of us are walking around with 6-shooters sitting on our hips too. But there were several times, I mean, I've been asked to, even here in the U.S., I've been asked to stay and take pictures or sign autographs. But there, they would want me to dress up Western. If they didn't think I was dressed Western enough, they'd dress me up even more Western.
Really?
They want me to stand there and take pictures because these people had never seen a real cowboy.
There you go, real cowboy.
Yeah, but yeah, that was that was just something I'd never seen before. One story, that there was a theme park in Grudziądz, Poland, that I played a show at, and I stayed there for 4 or 5 days. We didn't have nothing going on. It was a great place to rest. But these Ukrainians, and this says a lot about the people of Poland. Ukrainians they would bring the fighting age Ukrainian, they would bring their kids to Poland. There would be these Polish families. They didn't know each other. They would leave their kids with these Polish families.
Yeah.
Go back and fight.
It's crazy.
And so this theme park was full of these Ukrainian kids. And I mean, they'd see me and they're like, they're at this Western theme park and they just love this Wild West culture. And, they would tell them, "Hey, this is a real Texan." Oh, well, they just come. I mean, you'd think they just seen Brad Pitt. And, so they come up. Oh, I didn't think this through, but I had my good hat, my American Hat Company hat. It's about an $800 hat. And them kids really wanted to take a picture. So I let every one of those kids take pictures in my hat. When I got it back, it looked like a floppy sombrero. But seeing the smiles on those kids, I mean, it was priceless.
What an inspiration. What an inspiration to make a difference in people's lives. I mean, that's the beautiful thing of what art and music does. It brings the world together. And sadly, it can't seem to bring the Russians and Ukrainians together. We need Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something will happen to Putin eventually. But it's amazing how one guy can ruin like the whole world for everybody.
It is. That's the, and throughout history, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's even there, I mean, I heard a lot of propaganda. If people think propaganda died with the Nazis,
Oh
it
yeah.
didn't. And I heard a lot of it there. And you think, when are we going to learn from history that the truth is the most important thing? I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't dig and find the truth, if you keep following these crazy conspiracies and these crazy ideas, we're going to continue screwing up as humans.
Exactly. One of these days, we're going to learn that the world is flat. It's not round. It's actually hang on. I screwed that joke up. It's a triangle. It's not flat. It's not round either. It's a triangle. All right. I screwed that joke up. Way to go. So there you go. So what's the future plans here? Are you working on another album? You're going to keep releasing singles, touring, et cetera, et cetera?
Right now, I'm releasing singles. Music has changed, and it's continuously changing. And nobody, if somebody could map it out and paint a clear picture of that, you'd find a billionaire. Nobody knows where it's going, how to navigate it right now. It's uncharted waters, and we're all trying to find our way. I believe that releasing albums right now is just a waste.
Yeah.
You're just burning off too much music. I mean, right now with Spotify and all these streaming platforms out there, releasing singles seems to be the best way to get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, that seems to be what the music business has been doing for the last few years, several years, is doing the singles release, and then maybe if something hits, they make an album, put it on an album. But for the most part, that's how people kind of consume music. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I've been torn on it, but I've started releasing singles, and I've started seeing my streams come back up, and I'm starting to create a little bit more momentum. Had a huge setback, a very unfortunate tragedy. We had a tour set with my partner in the tour. It was Kevin Miller, which he had a character called Swamp Donkey, and he was killed in a tragic car accident 2 days before Christmas. So we've been dealing with that and trying to navigate around it. And I've decided to take some time, to figure out a new path. But in the process, we're making strides there. I put together a band. I've got a new company, and I don't want to talk too much about that, but I've got a new company I'm fixing to launch that's fits right there into the music that I'm creating and the brand that I'm shooting toward. I'm gearing back towards my roots, which is rodeo. And we're going to be around. We're going to be around Texas. I'm going to keep making music, and I plan on coming back with a bang here soon.
There you go. There you go. And it'd be great to see you touring on the road and doing events again. And I'm just excited. I just want life to be normal again.
You and me both. Yeah. Boredom is something that I'm looking forward to.
Definitely. I'm going to do that when I'm like 70 or 80. I'm just going to drool on the side on a porch. I tell all my friends, I'm like, we better make some shit happen so that when we're sitting on the porch drooling down the side of our mouth, we at least have some good memories or something. We got that going on. But people are like, but you drool out the side of your mouth now. And I'm like, well, I have plenty of head wounds. So there you go. Everybody knows that on the show. Anything more we want to talk out, pitch, or talk about what you're doing?
I just released another song, "Ghost on the Wall." It's a song that I wrote, about something that I was going through at the time that was very hard. But a lot of people have taken it different. They represent it, or to other people that listen to it, it represents the people that they've lost throughout their life, and it's a reminder that be careful, what you say. Be careful about cutting people off and hurting people, because one day you'll be a ghost on somebody's wall.
That's
and
true.
How you want to be remembered, it's completely up to you and your actions. It's a good, sad song, but I encourage you to go out and listen to it, and we'll keep on releasing new music. Probably here in the next
go.
month, 6 weeks, I'll release another song. So.
There you go. I listened to it earlier today, Ghost in the Wall. The guitar part's great. I love the intro. But yeah, it did kind of remind me of different life events that I've had, whether it was death or sometimes a girlfriend that I moved out. You're kind of like, in that space where you're like, well, I miss them, but I don't miss them, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so the Ghost in the Wall, I remember my friend said to me, I go, man, I keep thinking about her, and I know that this isn't going to work, but I keep thinking about her. And he's like, you got her pictures around your house. You got her stuff still in the house. You need to get all that out of there because that's a ghost. And so, we're haunted by these ghosts in our lives, whether it's a past loved one who passed away or whatever. So, it's a great song for that.
Thank you. Yeah. The memories, in the end, all we have is memories, it's some of those are painful memories, and they haunt us throughout the rest of our life.
Yeah. You wrote a song about Facebook jail. I think we've all experienced that one. I think at this point, it's the algorithm's really crazy now. I had a friend who I can't remember what she wrote, but it was something completely innocuous. It was like a fact or something. And there was nothing egregious about it at all. It was like just stating a fact, and she got suspended. And it's like, I think I got suspended. When did I get suspended? I got suspended for something stupid recently. You ever thought about writing any songs about Elon taking over Twitter? That seems to be a whole crap show.
I have. I pissed so many people off with that Facebook jail. Many people. Yeah. Oh man. Facebook actually shadow banned me. And if you don't think that's real, trust me, it is.
I believe it.
That thing had 60,000 hit in the first week. You know how many it's got. So 2 years later, it had 60,000 hits the first week, the video. You know how many hits it's got today, 2 years later?
How many?
About 63,000.
Wow.
I mean, they shut it down. I mean, and anything I post, I had all kinds of interaction. I was looking up, I had 60,000, in a week or weekly engagement, however that is. Man, I put something out and I thought it real good. I was like, man, this right here is good. I'm going to get a lot of engagement on this. I'd have like 2 or 3 likes. Nobody was seeing any of my stuff. And it was like that for about 3 months. I thought, my goodness. And, but yeah, it really, I try to stay away from I have my political views and it pisses people off. So I try to stay away from it, and Facebook jail was not meant to be political. It really wasn't. I know if you listen to it, you'd probably say, yeah, no, that's pretty political. But it was really, it was right after the election. And I mean, it was just every time somebody'd say something, they were getting kicked off Facebook. I mean, everybody was throwing, and so-and-so's cousin was getting on. Well, Billy Jackson, Facebook jail again, just to let y'all know, just everybody, just a whole narrative was Facebook jail. Everybody was getting thrown in Facebook jail. So me and Paul got together and wrote that song, and it was meant to be humorous, just because everybody was so pissed off after that election.
I think it's worse now. I mean, I see people getting suspended for nothing. Nothing. And you're just like, they'll post like, here's what I said. And you're like, how is that offensive to anyone? Who reported that? And, I think, I can't remember what I got. My last suspension for a couple of days, there was like nothing, like it was the most innocuous thing ever. It was a joke. And it had an LOL on it too to indicate it's a joke, because I've learned that I've got to put LOL. Otherwise, people are like, "Are you being serious?" Like, no, that's a joke. That's why I wrote that. And so I put LOL or BWAHAH on stuff, and I do that on purpose because I want the bots to go, "Oh, he's doing some comedy." And it's just that way. So yeah, but maybe Facebook, I don't know how many employees they have, but losing the Facebook crowd maybe is bad for the career for music.
It is. But I
don't know how many listen to country music.
Yeah. Just to add a little side note on that, if there's one thing I can say about all this, and especially, and I know you see it, everybody sees it, whether you're far right or far left. It just seems that everybody's looking for a reason to be offended.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
real victimhood competition culture we have going on right
yeah,
now.
it's just I feel like, I mean, people are they're so worried about finding something to be offended by that
Mhm.
they forget to find the small moments to make you enjoy life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cancel culture and the offended, the culture of the offended. It's made things very interesting. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
We really have turned into emotionalism society, and we need to change that. We need to go back to logic and reason,
Yeah,
because I mean that's what's created just about every problem we've had over the last 3 generations.
I
So,
agree.
but the beautiful part is music brings us together, and
Yes.
we can dance and listen and sing and go to concerts and enjoy music regardless of what our idiot beliefs are that we're working on. We're a bunch of stupid human beings when it comes down to it, in my opinion.
I feel like when it's all
Especially
over with.
me.
Oh, me too. Me too. I mean, when it's all said and done, and we we meet our maker, get to the pearly gates, or get our 57 virgins, whatever it is, we're all going to be in shock. We're going to say, "Man, we're a bunch of idiots."
Yeah, I think that's what's going to be on my tombstone. Here lies Chris Voss, complete fucking idiot. Everyone in my podcast is like, yeah. Well, it's been wonderful to have you on, Scott. Very insightful and exciting. I look forward to what you're building with your career and your music and stuff. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs.
Yeah, scotthaley.com. And thank you very much, Chris, for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. It's been fun to have you on. I look forward to having you on again when you come back and you're like, I sold 15 platinum album. I don't know how it works. Clearly, I've never done it, but you come back. You probably won't even call us back then. You're like, I'm platinum now, baby. Garth Brooks calls me for music.
Oh shoot, no, I'll definitely be back. If you'll have me back, I'll come back.
All right, we have a record of that now. So anyway. But there you go, man. I mean, it's great. It's good that you have the career. Thank you very much for coming on. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. And then you have a channel over there too as well, Scott, right?
I do. I think it's just Scott Hayley.
There you go. There you go. And check him out on Spotify, the big old Spotify. We love Spotify. In fact, our podcast's on Spotify. So check out his music over there. That's where I was listening to earlier today. And find the stuff that brings us together. That's what 2023 should be. A thing where we get back to normal instead of being so divided, we all get back together through music and everything.
Let's just hug. Let's just hug one another.
I do want to hug everybody, especially after I can't hug anybody for the last 2 years. But there's some people I don't want to hug. Can I punch some of those people in the face?
Well, that's the thing. When we get back to where we can hug and throw punches and not get offended and not press charges, not file sexual harassment charges for a hug, not file assault charges for a punch, that's whenever we're going to be back to being the America that was great.
There you go. I love that. So thanks about us for tuning in. Check us out all over the internet. Share the show with your friends and family. Be sure to be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys